Let's get ready to rumble. Come on. Yeah, Thursday morning, of course. We are Wake Up Nigeria, bringing those positive vibes to you. You have to be with us for the next 2 hours, 45 minutes to be a part of this. It's going to be an absolutely wonderful time on the show today.
Of course, it's going to be a bright and electric show today. Every single moment is going to be breathtaking. After all, it's the most anticipated breakfast show on television. Wake up, Nigeria!
Okay, of course, we have some pretty big plans for you, and of course, I would want you to stick around for all of it.
Yes, now talking about activities, remember to wash your hands as frequently as possible. Use hand sanitizers, keep your hands away from your eyes, nose, mouth, maintain social distance. I think it's something we've gotten used to already.
We've gotten used to, of course. So while you maintain social distancing, we'll connect to you via social media. So get on your devices, let us know what you've been doing, of course. We'll just throw out other key pointers there that you can comment on, but hey, come on. That's what we do on Wake Up Nigeria.
Yes, now I don't think there's any other family TV show that is better than this. Not bragging, I'm just stating the obvious. My name is Tokwe Oluwaniyo.
Mike Mesikeno is mine. You can stream with us online at tvcentertainment.tv. On Facebook, it's at TVC Connect.
Now today we would really love to talk to you. Really want to know what's going on, where you are, how you're keeping up. How's the second half of the quarantine isolation going for you? So use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC on all our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, most importantly. You
can also download our app on any Android and iOS store to watch us anywhere around the world. Let's get straight to what we have for this morning.
On etiquette today, Janet Adetu, a certified corporate image and professional business consultant, will be joining us to talk about online etiquette. And Chef Belinda, as always.
We have a wonderful, specially prepared mouth-watering chow in the kitchen. You don't want to miss this one.
Of course, technology makes the world go round, and Mike has us on lockdown on that.
Now for the latest on what's happening around the world, join us for our social media rounds. Let us interact.
For art display, we have Princess Fumi Okpanubi joining us via Skype. We will be checking out some of her artwork.
And now let's take the news now. Since Nigeria recorded its first case of the coronavirus on February 27, cases of infections have continued to rise despite different measures put in place by the government to curtail the spread. Some persons have continued to disregard the stay-at-home order by government. Recent cases of COVID-19 confirmed by the NCDC are persons who have no foreign travel history, indicating a dangerous curve. The NCDC says communal spread of the virus is on the rise. Director General of the NCDC, Chike Ihekwazu, says the only remedy is for people to stay at home, wash their hands regularly with soap and water, and to maintain social distancing when they go out. Getting Nigerians to comply with these directives is the big challenge. Manufacturers in Nigeria's city of Aba, southeastern Nigeria, say they are ready to roll out thousands of face masks and hazmat suits to meet the nation's demand for medical equipment as the number of coronavirus cases in the country climbed to more than 200. The first batch of the medical equipment have already been produced and sent to the National Center for Disease Control for authentication and approval, upon which the importation of the items will be one less thing for the federal government to worry about. Director General of the Abia State Marketing and Quality Management Agency and member National Private Sector Support Group for COVID-19, Barrister Sam Hart, says nationwide distribution will commence after the NCDC gives it its approval.
One of the thousands of shops in Aba where they are producing face masks, as you can see. They are rolling them out in the thousands. And everybody you see here is the young lady over there. This is what they are doing. They've been working hard round the clock. And they are producing this in thousands per day. Aba has the capacity to produce face masks for not just Nigeria, even Africa, thousands in a day.
That's quite reassuring. With the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown of schools across countries, there has been a shift towards virtual classrooms as a mode of education delivery. For businesses, on the other hand, most have resorted to either moving operations online totally or not working at all. Theophilus Elama's report takes a look at how the pandemic has impacted on education and businesses.
The COVID-19 pandemic is believed to have affected educational systems worldwide, leading to the widespread closures of primary and tertiary institutions. The UNESCO Institute for Statistics data released in March states that more than 421 million students have been affected due to school closures implemented in 39 countries, including Nigeria. As of 13th of April 2020, approximately 1.725 billion learners have been affected due to school closures in response to the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has also hit the world economy. Several businesses across various industries have practically shut down or are only operating within a fraction of their capacities due to restrictions of movement imposed by governments around the world. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) recently confirmed that the global economy has already slipped into a recession. The restrictions of movement in various parts of the world means that people are now forced to spend much of their time engaged in indoor and online activities. Healthcare, social media, telecommuting, gaming, and e-learning tops the list of industries that are currently witnessing uncommon growth in a recession-hit global economy. Despite this, the Central Bank of Nigeria has cautioned Nigerians on activities of cyber criminals taking advantage of the current COVID-19 pandemic to defraud citizens. In all, apart from businesses in the healthcare industry, the biggest winners are online-based oriented businesses. A key takeaway for entrepreneurs during this economic gloom and doom should be the need to embrace the digital economy.
Now, with the Nigerian police actively involved in enforcing lockdown ordered by President Muhammadu Buhari, a public-spirited Nigerian has taken it upon herself to provide the men and officers on duty with loaves of bread. Helen Osamede Akin reports.
It is the second phase of the lockdown ordered by President Muhammadu Buhari in Lagos, Ogun State and Abuja, the nation's capital. The Nigerian police have been at the forefront of implementing the lockdown. But there have been complaints that some police personnel have taken advantage of the lockdown to collect bribes and violate people's rights. But some Nigerians have decided to look beyond these negative reports. While roving around the city to monitor compliance, we came across this woman giving out loaves of bread to policemen at checking points. We decided to find out what all this was all about.
I just felt in this time of difficult season, we should extend our love to those that do not have it, and I felt also to extend it to the Nigerian police. There are security men here out working day and night tirelessly. So I just want to appreciate them, to just tell them thank you. So that is why we've come with the loaves of bread, to just share and just to tell them thank you.
We visited the police force headquarters to find out their thoughts about the gesture. We were received by the Deputy Force Public Relations Officer, who described the act as a measure of appreciation for the efforts of the police in keeping the city safe. He promised that Nigerian police will continue to ensure the safety of lives and property of all Nigerians.
Actually appreciate our efforts in that regard. For doing such a wonderful donation and support to the Nigerian police.
Beyond such gesture, the police also want Nigerians to stay at home and maintain social distancing to ensure that the virus is not spread beyond its current states. Helen Osamede Akins, TVC News, Abuja.
That's it on news for this hour. We'll take a break and return with sports. I'll kick off with the punch. We have your samples. Lagos creates 20 centers, FCT Combs residence houses. A 51-year-old doctor treating COVID-19 patient dies at Luth. 31 discharged in Lagos, Osun and FCT. Sanwo-Olu awaits Jack Ma's kits. I volunteered to donate my blood for coronavirus research, says Makinde. And then we also have here a picture story. This is Abuja, Lagos and Ogun State. Heavy traffic on Dantata Bridge along Airport Road, Abuja and Ojota. Maryland Bridge along the Ikorodu Road, Lagos, and a crowd of passengers at Isheri along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Ogun State. And this is on Wednesday. And, oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, I think those that are moving, well, this is quite an interesting picture story here. The jump lines underneath. We've not discussed Edo polls postponement, says INEC. Aggrieved Chinese firms, workers vandalize and burn companies' vehicles. Oil firms, 4.58 trillion naira loan repayment under threat, says investigation. All of that on the Punch. And then I'll move straight on to The Nation. Tinubu, massive spending way out of economic crisis. The rider says APC stalwart gives post-virus revival appeal. And then we can see a picture here of a section of Dugbe Market in Ibadan yesterday on fire. 32 patients discharged in Lagos, Osun, Kaduna, FCT. El Rufai, I'm still positive. Fire raises shops at Ibadan Market, and governors seek control of palliatives. All of this on the front page of The Nation. And then I'll move on to the Daily Sun. COVID-19, Interpol traces 561 million naira face masks fraud to Nigeria. FG gets 50 ventilators and medical kits from UN. A lockdown turns bloody. Police shoots two in Anambra. NHRC says Kaduna leads with 12 deaths. Niger, Delta 2. Niger, Ebonyi, Katsina 1 each. Security agents battle Abuja residents, drivers and traders. FG sets up 20 more sample collecting centers in Lagos and releases mask wearing strategy. And the picture here, of course, is still on the shops on fire. And 18,000 benefit from Lagos free medical services, and Khan declares 7 days of praise and prayer against COVID-19. That's on the Daily Sun. From the Daily Sun straight to the Guardian. Government under fire over COVID-19 evacuation and emergency flights. And Lagos Abuja airports record daily arrivals. Over 2,500 foreigners evacuated. How U.S. suspension of WHO funding threatens COVID-19 fight. And the picture here, heavy traffic on Odo-Iyalaro Bridge. Inward Maryland, Ikorodu, Lagos, despite the COVID-19 lockdown yesterday. No, this particular bridge really can be a problem. And then moving on to the Nigerian Tribune. COVID-19, Tinubu wants cash support through BVN. Wow, don't we all want that? Says most families need relief. A mixed case for sack workers in private firms, banks, and others. Offices, shops burnt in Dugbe Market, fire guts CAC headquarters. Lockdown, 2 killed in Anambra as police engage youths. Nigerians with 5,000 and below in bank accounts to get relief items. That's from the federal government. That should be some soothing news for some. All of that on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune and much more. Straight up onto the Vanguard. Hunger pushes protesters to streets in Delta and Anambra. Youths protest killing of 20-year-old man in Onitsha by police. Sapele erupts in protest over 14-day lockdown extension by Delta government. This is no time to oppose efforts to stop coronavirus spread, Delta government. And people with over 5,000 naira in bank won't get palliatives. 5,000 naira, that's okay. All right, on a lighter note here, Mr. and Mrs. Dear, you look stressed. Anything the matter? And Mr. replies, I was at the supermarket for some groceries when I felt like taking a drink. I took a gulp from a bottle of water and I choked. I had to suppress a cough and run out of the store. Otherwise, people would think I have the virus. Lighter note there. Moving on straight to this day. Concerns mount over treatment of COVID-19 patients by private hospitals. Doctor treating patient dies of pandemic. Increased contact tracing flatten the curve. Buhari charges task force. FG attains 3,000 daily testing capacity. Labs increased to 13. Expands criteria for testing. Approval for treatment facility. Issues guidelines on use of face masks. Cases rise to 407 with 128 discharged, 12 deaths. WHO says Trump's suspension of U.S. aid regrettable. Taking charge, and that's the President Muhammad Buhari holding a teleconference with members of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 from his office at the State House in Abuja. And, oh, well, it's been a long time I saw this. Nigerian pilot. Bizarre. That's the screaming headline there. Bizarre. Security agencies kill 18 persons while enforcing COVID-19 lockdown. Figure higher than 11 persons so far dead from COVID-19, says the NHRC. Says it recorded 105 complaints of human rights violation in 14 days. We've ensured international best practices, says the Force PRO, and Dubai Market Inferno. Yesterday, that's what covers the front page of the Nigerian Pilot. Okay, this is all we can take on the headlines in the dailies this morning. I will take a short recess, and of course, when we get back, our daily vulnerables, and we will be celebrating your birthdays. While I was checking the headlines the dailies this morning, I saw the part about federal government deciding that they'll give the palliatives via BVN or via transfer, deposit, whichever way, to people who have less than 5,000 in their bank accounts.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so Tokwe is not going to get to you.
I will just move on the
I know you have like 500 million.
Who be this one? I beg. Go. Wait, I don't know. On a serious note, less than 5,000 naira.
Yeah.
So if you have less than 5,000 naira, they'll give you how much?
I'm not sure of the amount yet, but that's the directive. That's what the federal government say.
This is our country. As in, President Buhari.
So, but it's better than nothing. Like I feel like we should start it.
No, we shouldn't. That's the thing. That's the thing. We keep tolerating these things. If do they have less than 5,000 naira in their bank accounts? These people, they don't.
There are some people
and then they would. No, I'm not talking about. I know people do. I'm saying that these people in the power position. If they give them 5,000 naira, how long would it even buy them their plate of food?
Well, the point is, there's less than 5,000 naira before you are given something, and the amount is.
What is something?
I don't know, but the amount is. But yeah, whichever way, the point is that if we can get stuff across to people at this point in time, that will be something very, very nice. That's something that I'm looking forward to.
But that's the thing. It's not fair, to be very honest. It's not fair. I feel like this is a form of victimization, that you will wait till now to the point where people will take anything. And then you just give them, and because they know they have no choice, they just take it.
Okay, so let's get your comments on social media. Let's. There's something I put about. What makes the world go round? I spoke about broken hearts and said.
What is it?
Okay, so, and then apart from that, something I can personally say is that security has increased. Security, so the security situation is quite okay because, you know, with the reports of people having to pilfer and vigilantes coming out, so we had quite security officials. I know I saw patrol vans at different areas coming in, and the security situation has kind of calmed down a bit.
Yeah, but something I experienced this morning, which I would really love people in power, in security department to take more seriously, is that these people who are at checkpoints should please wear uniforms. Because this morning they were not wearing uniforms when I was coming from the island, and I was a bit afraid because I was not sure if are these police people or are they military, who are they? Because they were just dressed in mufti, and then you wouldn't want to stop because you don't know if they are robbers or if they're actually
exactly.
So please, they should emphasize on them wearing their uniforms so that we can actually feel safe and comfortable around them.
That's nice. That's nice. I agree with that. Okay, so there's this trend on Twitter, what I learned during lockdown. I know. Okay, let's take a look at that now. You can see the screen. So let us know. Use the hashtag what I learned during lockdown. You use the hashtag also Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. Let's see. Let's take a look at some tweets here. What some people learned during lockdown. Mayor of Twitter at @crownis_Brino says, I got certified by Google on digital marketing.
Oh, okay. Impressive.
What I learned during lockdown, and this is it. Like, so I was going across, I think I saw Harvard and the free courses Harvard is offering. And it was quite amazing. So that's quite a cool now.
Someone said something. I learned love is like...
No. They didn't say anything. And then this one is funny. At Omoki, Omoki Khan says, me looking at the what I learned during lockdown hashtag trend because I've not learned anything.
Come on, you must have learned how to eat now. You learn how to sleep.
And this is a meme. This is a meme that's describing Omoki Khan now. I've not learned anything. This is quite interesting.
Let's see the meme.
But yeah, as it as much as you should push yourself, you should always take it calm and take it cool also.
Don't allow anybody pressure you, Joe. If you've learned...
Sometimes allow the pressure. Okay. All right. And this is at Rennie Jasmine. Rennie Jasmine is quite says, what I learned during lockdown, say life is vanity upon vanity. Okay. Money can't buy life.
At all.
Okay. It depends on the kind of
But
life.
it's true. Money can kind of buy. You just cannot buy COVID, a COVID-free life.
Okay. Now, two are better than one, but marry the will of God because a wrong partner can send you to your early grave.
This one is
So
deep.
some people are just being deep, especially Tokwe. People that are being deep. Okay. People are just being deep. But this one is quite interesting. I've learned that having foodstuff is better than having an iPhone SE.
Wisdom. Wisdom that is profitable to direct.
Oh, God. So, with your iPhone SE, man, you might not be able to eat, but when you have foodstuff.
Use knife and cut your phone and be eating.
Mr. Common says, what I learned during lockdown, I have learned not to underestimate any girl, especially your landlord daughter. Just leave it like that. Are you understanding what he's saying?
Let's analyze that. Would that mean that maybe your landlord's daughter was liking you and then you were ignoring her and then now you don't have food and now you're now trying to be nice to her so that...
Or maybe the landlord daughter can help you, yes. Maybe the rent still.
Maybe your rent is almost due. And then your landlord's daughter...
So I would say landlord's daughter, don't go to near them because you're in trouble.
You cannot finish your...
If you break their heart,
what?
it's quick notice.
They will evict you even 3 months. 3 months into your rent.
So don't go with your landlord, right? So just be careful the way you do that. Okay. Okay. So still trying to check out those trends. And this is at Chief_Kachi who says, I found new love in photography. All pictures taken by me.
You see?
What?
That's what me to learn.
Let's take a look at the pictures.
Appreciating my beauty.
This is nighttime. This is nighttime. This thing now. Very nice, very nice, and very nice pictures there. Very nice pictures that I can see there. What I learned during lockdown. That's quite cool.
Mike, what have you learned during this lockdown? I saw that you were going to read a book. Have you started reading that book?
No, yeah, I read books on the normal, so not as much as I would want to, because now there's something about reading which I want to say also. Now, because we have the internet, right? Because we have the internet, there is a lot that we can glean. So prior to this time when there was no internet, you would have to gain some kind of knowledge from books. But today, depends on the kind of people you follow. You could be following Warren Buffett. You could be following Bill Gates. You could be following Bishop T.D. Jakes. You could be following different people. And these are things, they say things that they would normally have written in books. So you kind of learn to get knowledge. So as much as maybe you might not have a physical book that you read steady, depending on the kind of people you follow, if they fit your criteria for people that you can glean something from, then it's good to follow them on social media and you would be learning something as though you were reading a book or something.
So great, this Mike.
I was doing this one.
Philosopher.
You don't talk about all the deep quotes you are giving.
Philosopher.
When you're staying and there's nothing to do. Deep quotes.
Deep quotes come to life.
You okay?
Lockdown quotes.
Look, I'll definitely give us one or two of those deep quotes when we come back after this short reset. With us, and we are taking a look at the headlines of the dailies. Once again, we'll kick off with the Punch. Samples. Lagos create 20 centers and FCT combs resident houses. 51-year-old doctor treating COVID-19 patient dies at Luth. 31 discharge in Lagos, Osun, FCT. Sanwo-Olu awaits Jack Ma's kits. I volunteer to donate my blood for coronavirus research, says Makinde. And the picture story here. Abuja, Lagos and Ogun State. Heavy traffic on Dantata Bridge along Airport Road, Abuja, and Ojota, Maryland Bridge along Ikorodu Road, Lagos. And a crowd of passengers at Isheri along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Ogun State on Wednesday. And this is, of course, just before some checkpoints where people have to slowly get past them. Okay, I'm moving on from the Punch. Now I have the Guardian. And we have here, government under fire over COVID-19 evacuation emergency flights. Lagos, Abuja airports record daily arrivals. Over 2,500 foreigners evacuated. And there's the picture story is that of a building housing some shops in flames at Dugbe Market in Ibadan, Oyo State. Heavy traffic on Odo-Yalaro Bridge, inward Maryland, Ikorodu, Lagos, despite the COVID-19 lockdown yesterday. And how U.S. suspension of WHO funding threatens COVID-19 fight. Medical experts warn of health system collapse. Government to use social register and BVN for palliatives. That's a welcome one. That and a little bit more on the front page of The Guardian. And moving on to the Vanguard. Hunger pushes protesters to streets in Delta and Anambra. And just above the flag of the paper, IMF advocates more fiscal support to fight COVID-19 in Nigeria. Gunmen kill 9, including children and pregnant woman in Plateau. Doctor dies of COVID-19 after treating infected patient in Lagos as Lagos discharges 16 patients. I'm still COVID-19 positive, El Rufai speaks from isolation. Positive cases rise to 9 in Kano. Security agents killed more Nigerians in 14 days than coronavirus. That's from NHRC. The picture story here is a protest against the lockdown in Delta State. Pandemonium yesterday as protesters raised that of a building housing some shops in flames at Dugbe Market in Ibadan, Oyo State. Heavy traffic on Odo-Yalaro Bridge, inward Maryland, Ikorodu, Lagos, despite the COVID-19 lockdown yesterday. And how U.S. suspension of WHO funding threatens COVID-19 fight. Medical experts warn of health system collapse. Government to use social register and BVN for palliatives. That's a welcome one. That and a little bit more on the front page of The Guardian. And moving on to the Vanguard. Hunger pushes protesters to streets in Delta and Anambra. And just above the flag of the paper, IMF advocates more fiscal support to fight COVID-19 in Nigeria. Gunmen kill 9, including children and pregnant woman in Plateau. Doctor dies of COVID-19 after treating infected patient in Lagos as Lagos discharges 16 patients. I'm still COVID-19 positive, El Rufai speaks from isolation. Positive cases rise to 9 in Kano. Security agents killed more Nigerians in 14 days than coronavirus. That's from NHRC. The picture story here is a protest against the lockdown in Delta State. Pandemonium yesterday as protesters move against the 14-day extension of a COVID-19 lockdown in Sapele, Delta State. For more on that, page 16 carries that story. And COVID-19, people with over 5,000 naira in bank won't get palliatives. Some people around me are not smiling when they hear this one. But hey, and targets 25% of Nigerians, urban poor, food distribution to be handled by states. Governments or governors seek extension of cash transfer to daily paid workers. Want states and debts to FG defrayed to cater for the poor. And back extension of lockdown in Lagos, Ogun, and Abuja. All of this on the front page of the Vanguard. And then from the Vanguard, I'll take on this day. Concerns mount over treatment of COVID-19 patients by private hospitals. That's the major headline there. Doctor treating patient dies of pandemic. Increased contact tracing, flatten the curve. Buhari charges the task force. FG attains 3,000 daily testing capacity. Labs increased to 13. Expands criteria for testing. Approval for treatment facility. Issues guidelines on use of face masks. Cases rise to 407 with 128 discharged and 12 deaths. WHO says Trump's suspension of U.S. aid regrettable. And we see here, Tinubu wants a 5% budget deficit limit altered. And the picture story is that of the president, who is holding a teleconference with members of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 from his office at the State House, Abuja, yesterday. Above the flag of the paper there, spare no resources to fight pandemic, IMF advises Nigeria. CBN urges vigilance to mitigate banking sector credit risks. And below there, we can see FG releases 200 billion naira to power sector to improve supply. Wow. All right, all of this on the front page of this day. And then to the nation, Tinubu, massive spending way out of economic crisis. El Rufai, I'm still positive. That's a top left corner of the paper there. In the middle there, fire raises shops at Ibadan Market. That's the Dugbe Market. Governors seek control of palliatives, demand federal cash. That is on page 28. Now, underneath the major headline there, there is a numerical representation of the spread and the curtailing of thereof of COVID-19. Global cases have gone to over 2 million, over 133,000 have passed on, and over 508,000 have recovered from the virus. And that's in some ways very, very wonderful news there. And of course, we can see the picture story here. A section of Dugbe Market in Ibadan yesterday on fire. That is quite a sad one there. 32 patients discharged in Lagos, Osun, Kaduna, and the FCT. Now, inside the paper with the these annotations lead you to different pages. Niger turns back Lagos travelers. Ogun gets molecular laboratory. Those qualified for cash transfer. Lagos to feed 100,000 youths. Daily testing capacity now 3,000. Door-to-door sample collection begins in Lagos and FCT. Khan calls for 7 days prayers. Abdul Razak holds virtual exco. Doctor dies after treating patient. World leaders knock Trump over withdrawal of WHO funding. More of that on page 5, page 6, page 7, 8, and 28. And just beneath the paper, that red jump line there says police dismantle roadblocks, desert Lagos roads. NHRC gets 105 petitions. That's on page 5. The previous one I just read from that jump line was takes you to page 8. Quite a lot to go through on the paper. All of that is on the front page of The Nation. Finally, we have the okay, well, we're taking the punch much earlier. So we're taking the punch much earlier. And that's it.
Still here, we have Janet Adetu. Now, she's a certified corporate etiquette, I would say, expert. Now, she's a professional in the business etiquette, and she is live with us on Skype, and she's definitely going to be sharing with us interesting things that we need to know concerning how to manage ourselves during this COVID lockdown. Good morning. Janet, can you hear me? I'm not taking your time now. Well, Janet Adetu will be discussing with us how to manage online etiquette during this COVID period, because there are a lot of things on the internet, and it's very important to sieve through what you see in order to protect your mental health, and in order not to get fake news passed across to you, and in order for you not to pass fake news across to other people. I think it's very important now that everybody is in the business of passing out information. But Janet Adetu is here. Good morning, Janet.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. I must say you look radiant. How are you doing?
We're surviving. Thank you.
So how are you holding up this second phase of the lockdown? How has it been for you?
Well, I have, amazingly, my husband and I were saying that, well, I think we're more busier because there's all these virtual calls left, right, and center. So you find yourself sitting down for most of the day attending to all these calls. So we've been pretty busy, actually. I think it's important to take some rest. So.
Okay, this is the first, I must say. But now, but talking about online etiquette, considering the fact that with the COVID-19, there's a lot of information on the internet, how are you going to advise us best in how to manage information and spreading information?
You know, we've gone virtual now, and this is the new now. And I'm really specifically talking about online meetings, or, you know, you need to speak to your team, you need to speak to your boss, you need to speak to your clients, or you're doing some kind of training, or you're keeping yourself productively active while we're locked down at home. So we're really glued to our computers. But there are so many ways now, and most people have automatically overnight learned how to engage in meetings online. So there's a lot of etiquette behind these meetings. So whether you're using, there's so many platforms now, whether it is Zoom or Google Hangouts or free conference call or even Microsoft Teams, everybody is logging in one way or the other. And I think it's really important because a number of people are not adhering, I would say. So, of course, when you have a meeting, there are so many meetings for prayers, for formal meetings, of course, even committee meetings, speaking just to your clients.
Yes.
And of course, training, like I mentioned before.
Yeah.
It's important to give the login details.
Okay.
So many people want to join the meeting, but they have no idea how to log in.
Yes.
It's important to understand you need to download that app, of course, and then you log in with the details that are given. But bear in mind, is it free for all? Is it for the public or is it for a specific group? And you need to remember that if it is for a specific group, then provide a password. Something new has started. It's called Zoom bombing, and people are tapping into people's conversations because the access has been open to all. It's really important now. Now they're making some very strict regulations as to how you can access people's virtual meetings. So, for instance, you have the login details, and now you're probably going to give them a meeting ID and now a password. And now they've even gone further. There's even a waiting room. So if you are not on that list with your email and your name, the person who is hosting probably will not let you in. So there's a lot of new guidelines for virtual meetings. But this is what is important, though, once again, is it open or is it closed? Make sure it's specific. Is it for a certain association or is it for, what is it for? The other day, one of my professional associations had a Zoom meeting, and somebody accidentally gave it to another group of people.
Oh, wow.
So when we had it, we had an overload of people who should not have been in the meeting, but it was too late to say no. So we learned from that and realized that, look, we need to make sure that there are strict conditions for entering. But this is it. Once you decide to go on a virtual meeting, just like we are having, this is actually virtual.
Yes, it is.
Please remember the ambience of where you are.
Yes.
If you're the one hosting, you want to be in a nice ambience. You don't want too many distractions behind you because people are listening to you. And because we are looking, we don't want things that are going to disturb or distract us from what you're saying.
Yes.
And if you are joining a meeting as well, you want to make sure that the ambience around you is noiseless as possible. So you don't want to be around the TV, the radio, children, people. Again, the other day I was on a virtual meeting with one of my staff, and he was in a neighborhood where so many people were talking around him. And of course, well, I don't know whether it's because they came there while he was on his call. But you see, the thing about that, I'm going to speak to that as well, how to block out the noise that is around you. Make sure the ambience is as clear and as clean as possible. Now, there are some people who this lockdown is making you stay in your pajamas all day long, and you really don't want to come out of those pajamas. So if you're going on a virtual call, be careful not to put the camera on because we will see you in your pajamas. And that means that if you're going on a virtual call and everybody is to be seen, please remember your dress sense. Wear something at least decent, not your pajamas. And if indeed you decide that you want to stay in your pajamas, then please block out the camera and have a nice picture of you there to represent. And it's okay, even if you're in your pajamas, but don't put on the screen for us to see you. While you're on the call as well, if you decide to have a drink, you want to eat something, please turn the camera off and have your drink. Not while the call is on and we're seeing you and you're drinking. I've seen people, drinking their cup of tea while they're on and all of that, and even eating. No, you don't want to really do that at all because that's bad etiquette, Okay. Having said that as well, you really want to sit comfortably. I've seen so many people on these calls lying down on the bed. And I'm wondering, this is formal. This is a formal meeting. I know we're locked down and we're staying at home and we want to be as relaxed as possible. But take that meeting as formal as if it were one-on-one or face-to-face. You need to recognize, who am I having this meeting with?
Yes.
Okay, so some people are, a bit too comfortable, I would say. So sit in a comfortable place. Be there for the meeting if it's for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and then log out. And then you can do that, Your body language is also important. Are you paying attention? Or are you doing other things? Are you daydreaming while a meeting is going on? So even if you're not the one speaking, and someone else is speaking, it's really, really important that you pay attention because people
Yes.
are seeing you.
True.
And sometimes you can be called upon to add your own contribution. So pay attention is really, really important.
Yes.
Again, I was speaking about noise around you.
Yes.
Some people, when they're the host, they will intentionally block and mute everybody as they
Okay.
come in, so there are no disturbances. If in, they will intentionally block and mute everybody as they
Okay.
come in, so there are no disturbances. If indeed you're the host and you haven't muted everybody, let everybody know that they should mute themselves when they come into the meeting. Otherwise, you get a lot of distractions. And while somebody is talking, we're hearing things going on, people in the kitchen, people washing plates, people walking up and down. So it's important to mute. And I guess if you're the one hosting, go into the settings and mute everybody. You can unmute them as and when you want them to speak.
Speak, yes.
Again, sometimes they don't want people to speak if there are too many people on the call. There's a chat box. Just, once you're on these platforms, just wangle your way around and you start seeing some features. Look for the chat box. They may require you to respond through the chat, ask
Yes.
your questions through the
Yeah.
chat, and they will respond. There's also a feature where you can raise your hand
Yes.
if you want to say something or if you want
Yeah.
to speak, and then they will unmute you. Check around, you see the raise your hand. Once you've asked your question, then press the icon that says bring down your hand as well. It's very important. Now, while we're on the call,
I'm so sorry,
well,
Miss
you may
Jennifer.
be having a training.
We'll
you may
have to
be
cut you short
speaking.
now. I don't know if you can hear me, but
Sorry?
that was I said we'll have to cut you short there, but there's really a
Yes,
lot that
so
we
I'm
need
wrapping
to
up
learn.
lastly. So don't forget to take your notes when you're
Okay.
in this meeting and take a lot of exercise as well. Sitting down for too long is not that good, but there you go with virtual etiquette.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think I learned a few things about that.
But that was a bunch of knowledge. I'm sure everybody who is out there whose work has been taken home and who have to participate in virtual meetings have definitely learned a lot on how to handle their meetings better. Thank you so much for sparing time to join us
You're
this
welcome.
morning.
Thank you so much.
All right then. So now, the show is not complete without food, and Chef Belinda is a whole vibe in this video. Let's enjoy it.
Today we are going to make a very simple and quick recipe. Today we are making fish in stir-fry pasta. We have our pasta, spaghetti actually. We have our fish. This fish has been marinated already. Marinated with ginger, garlic, little powdered ginger, garlic. Then we have salt, Maggi. That's all. Then we have our vegetables, carrots, bell peppers, green and red, onions, spring onions, cabbage. Then this is a mashed tomato and pepper. I just mashed them together to have a paste, a kind of rough paste. Then we have our soy sauce and oyster sauce. I mix this up with water so it will be more. Then we have salt, seasoning, minced ginger and garlic. Then of course we have our vegetable oil. In this water I have salt and vegetable oil. So we'll put our pasta right away. I actually don't like breaking my pasta. As you can see, our pasta has sunk into the water and is boiling. When we have our pasta boiling, we need to stir fry our vegetables. Start with our oil. Once your oil is hot, start with the our fish is frying. We're still making use of the same one pan. Add your crushed ginger and garlic. Then the crushed tomato and pepper. Now we add the rest of the vegetables, starting with the onions, carrots. I love this one. The what is giving me. Please don't do this at home. You can use your spoon to put the salt in it and let it go. Add our soy and oyster sauce. You allow this to simmer for like 3 minutes. And add the main vegetable. So let's bring in our stir fried fish out. Wow, already have a yummy This is beautiful. Now we're introducing our cooked pasta. I sieved it already, so we just pour into it and then we begin to turn in the wok. You can see that I've changed my spoon. I've changed it to a pasta spoon so that we can have a good mix. I can introduce another spoon into it, the wok spoon. So if you have this, you can go like this. Wow. Yummy recipe. Oh, Titi, I would just wish you could taste from this now. This is beautiful. Alright, we have our food set. Our yummy fish in stir-fry pasta. This is actually yummy. You can see it's an easy recipe that you can make from the comfort of your home with things you can find in your pantry. You have pasta in your house. I mean, just make something nice and your family will love it. They will enjoy with you. Please stay safe while you stay with yourself, with your friends and your loved ones. From here, it's a bye.
Right, so let's take a look at some of the latest updates in the tech world. And just yesterday, the biggest news in the tech world, which is quite strange considering the lockdown worldwide, is the release of the iPhone SE2. It's a second generation of SE.
Yes.
So there's been a first generation of SE, and so it's trending on Twitter. We'll just take a look at some of the specs and look at the phone. Quite interesting. It's about one of maybe the cheapest iPhone you can get in the market brand new now.
No, maybe the cheapest of the current iPhones.
Okay.
Because the older ones, I'm sure they're cheap now. But the new iPhones, this is by far the cheapest.
This is by far the cheapest. I don't know. Maybe they are considering that you're in a lockdown period.
Yes.
You know. So it's that's basically you take a look at it. It's the iPhone SE2. It's basically from what it says, it has the most of the specs of an iPhone 11 with the body of an iPhone 8.
Yeah.
And so, incidentally, what Apple has done immediately just before this iPhone was released was that they stopped selling iPhone 8 officially from Apple.
Okay.
So if you want to get a new iPhone 8 now, you'd have to go to a reseller or something, a few others, maybe Amazon or something that still have in stock. But Apple is officially not selling the iPhone 8 because this is actually just like the iPhone 8.
Business people. Business people.
You spoke about a photographer who wanted to get an iPhone 11 Pro, and that was because of the camera. Of course, we know how iPhone is when it comes to quality of pictures and all of that, for cameras and all of that. So yeah, that's it. So this one is quite cheap. $400, just about 40K.
Let's say 150, just in case.
Just in case of anything, any small shaking.
Exactly.
With 150, get your
150. I think it's really fair.
Your iPhone SE2, second generation of iPhone SE.
And you can pepper your haters.
Okay, so I was looking if I could get some reactions from some people because the iPhone SE is trending. This was sent yesterday into today.
Yeah.
And of course, just trying to get some reactions. Well, a lot of people they've not yet. Okay, this one is quite funny.
Honestly.
Since when you bought an iPhone 11 for $699 and then you realize that the iPhone SE just got announced today at only $399. And what?
What?
Okay, that's quite interesting. All right, so yeah, that's interesting. All right, so yeah, that's it. That's it. The iPhone SE. That's one of the latest things happening in the world of technology. And some other thing happening in the world of technology. You ever used a smartwatch before?
Yes, I did. I did use a smartwatch.
Yes, because I know
What's
at different
happening?
times. Okay, so now Google's smartwatch has a new feature
Okay.
that tells you or that announces it, tells you when to go wash your hands.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
it
Okay.
announces, it lets you know when to go wash your hands. Now, the interesting thing about the smartwatch is that it recommends 40 seconds. Now, the
For
World,
washing your hands.
yes, the World
Okay.
Health Organization says 20, but of
20,
course,
yeah.
they rather err on the side of caution.
Caution.
So what the Google smartwatch does is that it will play a song for you that
Oh,
lasts 40 seconds
nice.
while you
Okay.
wash your
Your
hand.
hands.
You
Oh.
know, so now if you don't want to touch the wash, you just tell it, Google, help me wash my hands, and then to start the timer and play the song for you.
Shey.
And then you wash your hands.
How much?
No, okay, no, this is an update. This is not a new one.
new
So
one,
if you
okay.
have an older smartwatch, that can update. You update to the latest,
okay.
the latest updates, which is given from Google, and you can access this feature.
That's good.
40 seconds, 20 seconds more. For TVC here, we would say 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So it definitely, once it's no lower than 20, it's okay. You can wash it for 1 minute safe.
As in there, just be washing and be going.
You know,
Be
so
feeling
once,
clean.
but it should not be lower than 20 seconds, which
shouldn't.
is the official duration by the World Health Organization. And then when it's 20 seconds, not just 20 seconds and then you're just doing this, you know, go to crevices
Yes.
and all of that all around. All right. So your Google watch can help you do all of that. It can help you wash your hands.
I think
all right?
that was a really good invention or upgrade.
Upgrade, yes.
Yes,
Very
that's
wonderful one. Very
yeah,
wonderful one.
thoughtful
It's
as well.
something that can really help you out,
yes.
out there. Okay, let's round this up by going to laptops.
Okay, you are
Laptops.
laptops. You are laptops. Okay.
Let's look at laptops, right? Let's look at laptops. This is talking about the newest Microsoft laptop which just got into the market, which of course had an upgrade by Intel i7 chip. It's an upgrade to the previous i7, but a new one. You know, like you spoke about with Janet during the etiquette section,
Yes.
there's a lot of virtual things happening now. People are taking more virtual courses. In fact, there's this particular course that an office here they told us to take and all that. People are meeting more people via Zoom.
Yes.
In fact, the owner of Zoom has become a billionaire during this period.
Imagine.
He has moved from under $1 billion to over $4 billion.
Wow.
You know, this period, because you know, Zoom and what they do, it's adaptable. It's very nice for conference calling and for meetings.
It is.
It is set. It is optimal for that.
Yeah, we did one yesterday.
You know, exactly. So you know, but this is Microsoft Surface Laptop 3, of course.
Okay.
It's receiving warm reviews. I might not be able to tell about the price, but then there's quite a lot. It runs with AMD. AMD is a chip for graphic designers, mostly for graphics, if you want to do graphics.
So
you have some laptops that run AMD and then they run Intel, of course, at the same time, those chips. And those chips help you, AMD mostly for graphics and all of that. That's a chip that will help you. But it's about $1,300. It's the latest, the Surface Laptop 3, and of course, touch screen, full backlit, of course, 256 SSD solid state drive. Now, of course, maybe some other time I'll may talk about the difference between HDD and SSD.
Okay.
Now, HDD is your normal hard disk drive, which is the normal one that when you insert, it spins and you can fill it. But for your solid state drive, it doesn't spin. It's more or less like a bigger memory card. So you understand the chip placement is more complex and intricate, but it doesn't need an engine to run it like you'd see in a HDD. So your solid state drive is more advanced. So that's actually what hard drives are made of now. Hard drives. And when am I buying it?
Because the way you have full knowledge.
No, that is also.
You are masking, so I'll collect that your old one.
That the old one, eh? So if you want to buy it for me,
wow.
You can,
wow. Wow.
You can buy this one.
How do we get there? How do we get there?
How did we get there? No. You see, you know.
Never mind. Let's stick to the details.
Solid laptop, everything says that, you know, some of them are like that. But hey, come on. And that's it. $1,300 if you want to get that new laptop from Microsoft. All right. Okay, that's all we can take. you receive a message from somebody or somebody calls you and tells you that we want to send money to you and just give us your the first 12 numbers of your ATM card and your BVN, want to send money from the government to you. If you send that thing, your account will be uniform, 0. That's the latest that they're using now. And they'll tell you, they ask you, how much you have in your account? We want to know how much so that we can send. Yesterday, my friend's wife, they called her, and that's what I was telling her, but she not do what he was supposed to do. I was like, look, I tell you, you have 1 million in your account. You have 1 million in your account. So she want to get them for their own game. The next thing is that, okay, please send us the first 12 numbers of your
Why would I send
ATM.
12 numbers?
That's where it starts.
It's crazy.
Like, don't do that. Don't give your bank. Look, your bank would never ask you for details.
Because they have it.
The only time they'll ask is when you call them.
Yes.
And then you want to find out something about your account. They ask to confirm that you are the actual owner.
Owner, exactly.
And that is after you call them. They will know. Bank would never ask you for details. So at this point in time, when people have small money and then something happens and then you scam them out of the thing and all of that. So
that's
please,
very painful.
the scammers now, they don't, all under the guise of federal government want to... we are representatives from the local government, and we are paying out the palliatives. Now speak some kind of English. We are about to want to ensure that your account is compliant with the standards that the central bank has given for us to begin the deferment of the process of the
whatever English that they speak. Don't fall for it.
Please don't.
Don't fall for it. No matter how professional they sound,
be very careful.
Just tell them you wait for federal government to send it, because federal government will not ask you to send it. Because your BVN, I'm kind of happy that we actually did that BVN, because that's how they can access anything. They can send whatever money they want. So please, even if you're low on cash, don't send it, because you might even lose the little one that you have in your account.
No, you might not. So if I have access to the numbers on your card and all of that, I have your BVN and all of that. Some will go fast, so I'd make it easier. They can just say that that
3
number
digits at the back
behind. Once you send that one, it's over. You just receive text, bang bang, and you just say debit
high
alert.
blood pressure.
You just say debit alert. And you don't be thinking that. You be thinking it's April Fool.
April Fool at almost the end of the month.
We know we're still April.
And
this is April
they didn't do it. April month full. Please, we're laughing, but what's
the lockdown will be real to you. Don't try it. Please don't try it. Okay? Let's head over to the news. Of course, Ibrahim is on standby.
Mike, have you ever played along with a scammer before? Whenever they call you and then you played along and you know that this person is really a scammer?
So once in a while I've done it, but mostly I just give it to them. A very, very hot insults, the one that will pay them. But I think I played around with them once or twice.
It's quite interesting. Good news for foreigners held up in Nigeria by travel restrictions adopted as one of the measures to combat the spread of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The federal government says those with valid visitors pass or residence permit with confirmed return tickets scheduled to travel out of the country will be issued relevant extension at no cost. A statement by the Nigerian Immigration Service discloses that the Minister of Interior approved the move to enable them reschedule their flights and travel within 1 week whenever the restriction is suspended. But the agency also revealed that foreigners whose permits expired before the restriction must pay for overstay for the period and the penalty it attracts. Many foreigners are stranded due to the closure of international airports and land borders by the federal government to curb the spread of the virus. The development made foreign embassies in the country, including the United States Mission, British High Commission and others, to demand permission to airlift their nationals through special evacuation flights. And the coronavirus pandemic cases have surpassed 2 million with 129,000 deaths globally. Here in Lagos, it's more progress in the recovery rate as 16 persons were discharged from isolation facilities after fully recovering and testing negative twice. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu disclosed these developments in a tweet, stating that the patients are 14 males and 2 females, including 3 foreigners. This brings the number of patients who have been successfully managed and discharged from facilities in the state to 85. The governor restated his plea for residents to stay at home, observe social distancing, and adopt the highest possible personal hygiene practices. He also added that government will continue to ensure that the effect of the lockdown is minimized by re-energizing the welfare packages for residents. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has warned that members of the organized transport sector who continue to breach the existing restriction order by the federal government by embarking on the night travel would face tough consequences. In a statement by the force public relations officer, IGP Adamu said the development was counterproductive as it undermined the efforts of the federal government at curbing the spread of coronavirus. The IGP also directed commissioners of police to ensure full implementation of the restriction order, especially as it relates to night travel. He has, however, asked that they be mindful of categories of exempted persons and the fundamental human rights of Nigerians. Manufacturers in Nigeria's city of Aba, southeastern Nigeria, say they are ready to roll out thousands of face masks and Hamzat suits to make the nation's demand for medical equipment as the number of coronavirus cases in the country climbed to more than 200. A first batch of the medical equipment have already been produced and sent to the National Center for Disease Control for authentication and approval, upon which the importation of the items will be one less thing for the federal government will have to worry about. Director General of the Abia State Marketing and Quality Management Agency and member, National Private Sector Support Group for COVID-19, Barrister Sam Hart, says nationwide distribution will commence after the NCDC gives its approval.
One of the thousands of shops in Aba where they are producing face masks, as you can see. They are rolling them out in the thousands. And everybody you see here is the young lady over there. This is what they are doing. They are working hard round the clock. And they are producing this in thousands per day. Aba has the capacity to produce face masks for not just Nigeria, even Africa. Thousands in a day.
Princess Fumi Okpanubi, now she is the MD of Ereke Paints Limited and CEO Fun World Art Gallery. She uses art as a medium to reach out to the society, thereby impacting the world through her inspirational artworks positively. She has had 2 major exhibitions and we have her live with us via Skype this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. You look so beautiful. I love the art, the Ankara piece, everything going on around your neck is so beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Did you make that yourself as well?
Yeah, I got a friend to make it for me. She makes Ankara beads, Ankara bags, Ankara shoes, and all that. So I saw the design somewhere, and I told her to make something nice for me, something that will be unique for me.
Oh, great. Now, from our research about you shows that you're a CEO of Ereke Paints. Tell me, how was your journey into starting that? I think you're the first woman I am saying that I know that has a painting company.
Oh, wow. It's quite an interesting one.
Okay.
I studied at the London Metropolitan University in the UK. Then it was called London Guildhall University.
Okay.
And I graduated in 2001.
Oh, okay.
I studied business information and business information technology.
Okay.
So when it was 2003, my dad called me. I received a call from him, from Nigeria, saying that he would like me to join, the family business.
Okay.
But I wasn't too sure about that initially, And I thought, okay, let me give it a try and see if I would love it.
Okay.
I was still skeptical about it, I thought, okay, if I don't like it, I'm a citizen, I'm a British citizen, I can always go back. Let me just give it a try. Okay. So my dad said, okay, we'll do it like a 6 months, you stay in Nigeria for 6 months, you go back to the UK for 6 months and all that. And that was it. And I came to Nigeria and I never looked back ever since. Because there's no place like home, no place like home.
Oh, that's
and I learned on the job, and he made me the general manager of Ereke Paints at the time.
Okay.
I'm now the MD now. Unfortunately, we lost Daddy about 4 years ago.
Oh, God rest his soul.
Amen. Thank you. So it was a good thing that I actually agreed, because not many children that live abroad always agree to come back to Nigeria.
I know, right?
But
yeah. So
so
now,
it was really.
How have you managed to handle the company as well as your passion for art and your art pieces? Because I can see a piece of art right behind you. How have you managed to juggle both together?
Thank you. Actually, the piece of art behind me right now was a gift from my art mentor, who actually brushed me up in art and all that. I've got some of my artwork around the house anyway. I have one down behind me and all that. It's been quite interesting. It's been an interesting journey because, you know, when I started working at Etiquette Paints, you know, it took a while to get used to the culture and everything else. And once I got accustomed to the culture and everything and the way the business was being run, Daddy was able to sometimes just leave me to handle the company while he stayed at home to, you know, sort out other things that he had planned for. So ever since then, later on, I saw that I really had passion for art. And when I told my dad about it, you know, he wasn't too sure. It's like, are you not just okay with this, you know? I wasn't too very fulfilled. So I went to see my art mentor, who I said actually gave me this as a gift. Etiquette art things. And I told him about the perception my daddy had about what I really wanted to do. And he said, don't worry, I know what you will do. And you know what my art mentor did, Mr. Funsho Mojola? He will allow me to do a lot of creative works and take it home for my daddy to see. And you know, gradually, when I was bringing those works home, my dad would be like, wow, this is beautiful. And I'll be thinking, is this the same man that, you know, wasn't too sure about my artwork? But since then, Daddy has been supporting me, and that's why I was able to successfully do 2 art exhibitions, one in 2013 and the other in 2014. So it's been a beautiful journey for me. Although it's been quite challenging because focusing on 2 different careers, it's not that easy. But you have to be able to create a balance, you know, being a wife, being a mother and doing all that. But you just have to be organized.
I must say, you're doing pretty well. You're doing very well. Now, let's talk about your art.
Thank you.
As a creative, how and where do you get inspiration for when you want to start drawing and when you want to start painting? Where does the inspiration come from?
Wow. The inspiration comes from colors. I just love colors. I love being creative. I love, you know, I can sit down, think of something, and I'm just like, wow. Maybe you can even look at the sky. You know, when you look at the sky, you will see like shapes of the cloud that will bring an image out. I'm sure, you know, maybe a form of a human being or anything like that. And, you know, I get my inspiration also from everyday life because art speaks. Art speaks, you know. You don't need to communicate sometimes. When you look at a particular diagram, I mean picture, the art will tell you, I mean, when you look at it, I don't know if I can actually get a picture here now.
If you do have one, we could look at it.
Yes. Okay, let me fight for the background now. Now, this is not actually a painting, though. It's a picture.
Oh, okay.
If you look at this image now, you don't have to give it a caption.
Yes.
You can see the mother and the son praying. That's art speaking to you. That's art. That's communication. Yes. Okay. And then this is my one of my artworks.
Okay.
Okay. You know, I love colors, as I said.
Oh, this is
if you look at the border, thank you so much.
You did
if you look
all
at
that
the border
yourself?
Now, I did.
Wow, that is very beautiful.
I did. Thank you so much. You know, so you have colors and all that. You know, this is an African woman coming from the stream with the pot on her head.
Yes.
And you know, it just talks about our African culture, our way of life, and everything else like that. You know.
Now,
that's it, really.
For young and upcoming artists who have challenges and find it hard to get funding or get people to appreciate their works in terms of finances, how would you advise them to get their works out there and get people and get strategic positioning really for their works to get visibility?
You know what? Sometimes when you have aspirations, you have dreams.
Yes.
Some people, especially the youth, their mindset is like maybe if they have a lot of money, maybe millions of naira, they will be able to do certain things.
Yes.
But my advice is this, because as a member of Daystar Christian Center, not that I'm promoting the church or anything, Pastor Sam Adeyemi, Pastor Sam Adeyemi, I have a book that I read that it's titled "Start with What You Have." You can start small. You can start small, and you start drawing. And you know, the little thing you can do is that when you draw something really nice, you can just post it on your WhatsApp to your friends or the WhatsApp status, and people will get to see it.
True.
You know, that way people will be like, wow, you're very good. You never know who will see your work and appreciate you, and probably will be ready to sponsor you to a higher, you know, grade or to a higher level. You understand? Okay, let me give you an example. You know, we're on the lockdown now.
Yes, we are.
Okay, that's why we're doing this interview on Skype.
Skype, yes.
You know that I have one of my my baby daughter, her best friend. I discovered that sometimes when they chat, she sends pictures of her drawings. I'm yet to call her mom to tell her that, you know, you really need to invest on this, your daughter. She's so good with her drawings.
Okay.
She's so good at the age of 8.
Okay.
I mean, if I have the opportunity now, maybe, you know, I know someone of, you know, a very high, you know, art, I would just take her there and show the work. And, you know, they will really, really brush her up. Because at the moment, I don't do any training right now because I have my hands full.
I can imagine.
I will take that, you know, just start small. Gradually, you will get yourself known. I started small. Not that I really had the capital, but the little I had, you know, because to me there, when I was the general manager of Ereke Paints, I classified myself as a salary earner. I didn't classify myself as, you know, a manager or anything like that. So the little money I had from my salary, I used it to buy paint materials and all that. And gradually, I was able to move on, you know. I had my exhibition first to save costs at the factory space. And when people saw my work, they were like, wow, Fumi, I didn't know you were this good. I didn't know you paint. Now, I'd already created awareness there.
Yes.
And I was advised that when next I want to do an art exhibition, I should go to the island, you know, main places that people will really be able to see and appreciate my work. And that's when I had my second exhibition at the Lagos Country Club. And I specifically chose a holiday period where people will be able to come and look at my work. And it was televised on other stations as well. And it was on the newspaper and everything else. And that was how I was well known. You know,
great.
So you start small, gradually, and then people will discover you know how.
Oh, that's great. Really great to know. So now I would like to know, this lockdown, have you started drawing? Have you started painting anything new? Have you gotten more inspirations? Are you going to take us on an exhibition journey real soon?
Well, in terms of the exhibition, it's something I plan to do by the grace of God.
Yes.
If not late this year, maybe next year.
Okay.
I've been so busy, to be honest with you.
Have you been busy painting or with the Ereke paint?
It's a combination of most things that, you know, an artist does, because an artist is creative.
Yes.
So I've been busy. First of all, I've been doing spring cleaning in the house because I hate death. So
I can imagine.
I've cleaned the house. You know, there's no end to cleaning the house. So from there, because my daughter is going to be 9 by the grace of God on Sunday. So we've been busy creating, you know, party hats, you know, for her birthday. Since we can't go out, so we have to be creative. Party hats. I'm going to use this background here for her photo shoot, since we can't go out for any photo shoot.
Photo shoots, yes.
And I'm not just going to use this background. I'm going to change the backgrounds maybe 3 or 4 times and be creative with it, you know.
Okay. Well, I'm sure as a creative mom, you would definitely, I'm sure as a creative mom, you would definitely find creative ways to make your daughter have an amazing birthday. But we have to come to the end of this interview. It was really nice chatting with you.
So much.
We wish you all the best.
You too.
All right,
Thank
then
you
do
so
stay
much
safe and keep your family safe. And happy birthday to your daughter.
So we have multiple award-winning artist, Aituaje Irobe, who's aka Waje. Now she's a Nigerian singer whose vocal range covers 3 octaves. Now she has, you know her. Let's not even go. She's arguably one of the most talented voices in the world, not just Nigeria. It's great to have you on the show this morning, Waje. How you doing?
Hi. I'm good. Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning. You look good in spite of a lockdown. Tell me, how have you been managing during this period? How have you been holding up during this lockdown period?
I've been eating, see my cheeks. Like I'm getting to a point where I need to isolate myself from my kitchen. My
Ah,
fridge.
I
I'm
agree.
telling you, I can't help it. Like you won't believe that just before you guys called, I was lying there and I was thinking, what do I make today? I now went to my friend's page. He's a chef, Chef Rex, and I saw that he was stirring something, some like pasta. I was like, oh God, no, I've been eating.
Wonderful. But have you had time to do any sort of work, like maybe music, new music, or anything like that? Have you had time during this lockdown?
Okay, so unfortunately for me, I really don't know my way around the studio, which is one of the things that this quarantine season has taught. Certain things you feel like you don't need to concentrate on because you have, people who can do it, and you tell yourself, oh, I'll just pay a studio engineer. All those times that the studio engineer will come to my home studio, I wish I was paying attention to what they were doing rather than just sitting in front of the microphone, because now I can't even use the studio without them around. So so I haven't really been able to. Yeah, I will hum a few things and write a few words down, but it's just really, and the anxiety of on the uncertainty of what's going on kind of just makes it difficult for me to write. But I started an online class, on
Wonderful.
yeah, so I started actually two online classes. One is like a coach situation, and I just thought I never did my masters. I might as well just enroll and see if I can pace myself and just, yeah, so that's it.
I like that. Wonderful. Now, I see you're comfortable in your makeup-free, with your makeup-free look. You know, that confidence, that's something that a number of ladies and women lack. I don't know, can you talk to us about how you maintain confidence? Because, by the way, before that, you actually look very beautiful without makeup, by the way. But
Thank you.
how do you maintain, and how can you exude such confidence to young ladies around the world? Because insecurity or low self-esteem is something that we see amongst many people, especially ladies. How do you build your confidence and self-esteem?
I think over time I have really perfected this whole self-confidence thing, because it really didn't used to be my persona. Like it wasn't really me. Or rather, my much younger years, I had a lot of insecurities. But as you grow older, you just get comfortable in your own skin, and you understand that really you owe nobody any explanation. You just owe it to yourself and God and the people that you love. And then when you start seeing that the value you bring to the table is more than just what you physically look like, just don't put that pressure on yourself anymore. You understand? Because it's you're selling value, you're selling substance. So I try to, and that's why I try to tell, like, my daughter, for example. So strangely, we were having this conversation because, young people, early 20s, teenagers to late 20s, they are always, um, very insecure about, especially because of what the world is selling as beauty. So I just feel like I try to tell them, I say, listen, it's great to look good, be beautiful. What's beauty? Beautiful is making sure that at least at some point you're taking care of yourself. You have great skin, you have great hair that's natural. And then if you want to go overboard on any other thing, that's between you and your God. But I feel like these are the basics. And no matter how pretty you look, if you don't have value, if you're not bringing something to the table, you look empty. So I guess it's that realization that has made me not really put that much pressure on myself.
Wonderful. Now, if I remember clearly, last year you broke the internet with your
Yeah.
realness. Something happened last year. You spoke about the challenges. Yes, So look,
Yes.
I connected with you a little bit more after that incident. You spoke about how the challenges in music, how even though you are talented, it doesn't always translate into it's not always feasible financially and all of that. From then up until now, has there been some sort of a change? How has it been coping with bills and all of that, and music, you know, still being the center of what you do? How has it been since then?
Well, to be honest, it's been better than I expected, to be honest. You know, things like that kind of make you reevaluate your process and your, I'm trying to look for the right word, like really the opportunities that come by and how well you maximize those opportunities. So, you know, like last year, before the end of the year, I had my concert, and it was shocking to me because that whole really taught me a lesson. And the lesson was that sometimes you feel like you don't have people who really enjoy your music or love your brand or want to be part of your success. But the truth is they are there. It's probably you not finding them, you know. And, you know, my management and I, we understood from everyone's response, both media and the fans, that there was some sort of disconnect between me and my fans. So it wasn't like people didn't love Waje anymore. They just weren't aware of what Waje was doing, you know. So not understanding that, we tried to fix that. And then the concert was the grand finale, and it was sold out. Like literally, I remember when I was driving out from the back after rehearsals, you know, just to see if I can quickly go change, shower, and come back. And I saw a friend of mine who was telling me, Waje, I want tables. And they said tables are full. I said, tables have been fully booked since like 2 weeks before the concert. And I really couldn't do anything for the people that are my egbons. Do you understand? Because people have got the tables. So I realized that, you know, moving forward, it's really about me finding ways to connect with my fans. And while I look for a new space and a new territory, you can't leave other people behind. That's the first thing. And then reevaluating the opportunities. Like, music is an open door, but that doesn't mean that's all I have to do. You understand? I have a media company with Omaomi called Jimenez. I do my interior thing on the side. And even this whole process, I've been working on something else, you know, that I can't say now because, you know, till at least I have done at least 40% of the job, or at least 50% of the job. So the thing is, at times like this, you sit down and you look for opportunities. No matter how much you love music, sometimes God gives you a talent or a gifting that's an open door for you to reach other things and, you know, express your other talents in other things. There are so many of us that really don't know we do other things until you get to that point where you have to find that inner strength and gift, you know, that is not what every other person knows you for, you know. So yeah.
Wonderful, Waje. I could talk to you for hours. You are a wonderful conversationalist, but we have to end now. I wish I had more time. Maybe we probably will still hook up with you some other time and get more of your gist. But thank you. I'm happy that you know, we were able to glean lessons from what happened. And you know, vulnerability doesn't mean you don't have strength. I keep doing what you're doing. You're doing well. You're doing well. You're doing well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
I do. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much, Waje. That was Waje rounding up the show for us. It's been a wonderful time. Tokwe, a big shout out to everyone who's been a part of the show. Thank you very much to everybody, to Homely, NG for the kitchen accessories. Of course, we'll be here tomorrow. Of course, Tokwe was here with me the whole show. Tokwe, you want to say something?
On this note, peace out. See you tomorrow, same time for your #1 breakfast show in the whole of the world.
All right.
I said it.
All right. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.